And because I believe there's two people who show up there's two people in the calls, right? I guess there's the person who comes to you who has been struggling, having a hard time, that really needs help. And this is probably a pattern that could happen in the last 6 months, the last couple of years, or the last 30 years, has been struggling with something, right? And that's the person that if they stay that way through the whole call, they can't say yes, right? And then you have another identity of the person, of someone who has probably had some success in life at some point in their time. Maybe it was when they were younger and they had overcome some stuff that were tough, and that's who they have to be identifying with to be able to move past it. So, but first, there's a couple things. Let me jump on my iPad real quick here. See if it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Cool. So we're talking about splitting their identity. And like I said, there's two people. You got the person who feels empowered, that can do things. And then you get the person who's just kind of crushed and might not even think it's possible to get the result. They see other people doing it, that's for them, but they feel like eternally doomed or something, right? So there's a couple problems, and this is what happens on the calls. Let me go to this first, and I'll talk a little bit more about splitting the identity. One of the things that coaches do is they force pain, and people can sense this, okay? And they go into the pain probably too soon, right? So one of the things that when I listen to calls, and I'm not against rapport. I think we need to build rapport. I'm against the way most people build rapport. I call it fake rapport. The stuff where you're talking about small talk and people don't really care. They're on the call. They don't really care that you like whatever you like, that you live next to them, that you know these things. It can help create a little surface level rapport, but that's not going to be enough to make someone sign up with you, right? So I believe the true rapport comes from the caring and comes from the uncovering in the call, right? And making the client aware of things that they weren't before. And they go, oh, wow, right? So that's what I believe. So most people go into like small talk, fake rapport, I call it, and then they go in, they frame the call, right? And then they go into a question that it's too soon. There's no real rapport, and it's kind of trying to go too deep. So like they'll say, what's keeping you up at night in your business? Or they'll say, what's the biggest problem with your business? What's the biggest problem with the biggest challenge you have with weight loss, right? And in theory, it's like, okay, you want them to get to the point, and I get it. But the problem is when you do that, people aren't ready to open up, right? It's like if you meet someone for the first time and you're like going up an elevator or something, right? And you ask a person on the side of you, hey, how's your sex life? Like it's just like there's no context, there's nothing, right? So it just kind of comes off a little. Can you do it? Yes. Can it work? Yes. But this is it just makes them kind of give you like surface level bullshit answers, right? So and then when you get into it, you're just trying to force the pain, right? Which creates more resistance, right? And they put their walls up more than but anyway, and they make you downplay the problems, right? So the second thing people do is, if they're asking what they've tried before or whatever is going on or whatever they're doing right now to currently solve it, they kind of try to destroy it or make basically destroy what the client is either done or doing, right? And that creates even more resistance, and makes them downplay their problems. Like it's not so bad. Like I don't know how many times like when you go into these techniques and you try to force pain and you try to smash, like you definitely want to smash bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I'm like I like the sledgehammer. I love that stuff, right? But there's ways to do it, right? When you go in too fast like that and you try to pick holes apart what they're doing and why it didn't work, you just create more and more resistance. And the more resistance you have, the least likely they're going to tell you the truth, right? And that's really what the main thing happens at the end. You're not getting objections. You're getting smoke screens. It's not a real objection because they don't trust you enough to tell you the truth, right? And that's what we need. We need the trust. We need to, so we can actually find out what's really going on. We think it's the money. We think it's I got to talk to the spouse, right? It's like, you know how many times people say, I got to talk to the spouse, and they're just saying that because they already said no. It's really just a nice no, right? They don't want to hurt your feelings or something, right? But it's a no because you didn't address the real issues. Anyway, number 3, when you kind of try to destroy what they're doing and not doing, you're basically trying to make them wrong, okay? And you think that, well, that's kind of good because you want them to see you as a solution, right? And there's partially truth to that. But when you make them wrong, you kind of crush them, right? And these people have failed for so long already that at the end of the call, they might be in a lot of pain. They might freaking know they need you. They might even think that you might have the solution for them. But they have no confidence and it's going to work for them. Because they're completely, everything I tried doesn't work. This isn't going to work for me either, right? They're just becoming this crazy victim mindset. And there's usually signs of that in the call that you need to smash, right? Those limiting beliefs about their mindset and what they're doing. When you can call those things out and you can point and say, see, this is also another thing that's tying back to this. Then when they throw you the thing at the end, you've already talked about it several times and they realize, holy shit, this is a pattern I do, right? Okay, so... and when you do those things, when you create like resistance and friction, right? They downplay their problems, like we said, right? So they're gonna downplay DP their problems anyway. And basically, when you get that, you got to either go in and smash the frame, and there's more resistance. And I'm not opposed to doing those things. But I only want to do that after I've exhausted things, and they need that huge pattern interrupt, right? The problem is people never get real with you because of most of the time, most sales training courses teach you how to go in and find the pain and make them feel like shit. If you can make them cry, they'll enroll. And sometimes that can work, but it's also from the place of where you're coming from, right? Like I always say, people say, what's the difference between like influence and manipulation, right? Because essentially they're the same thing, right? So the main difference is intent, right? What are you intending to do? Are you doing it for your own benefit? You're doing it to help them, right? So if you're coming from that place of helping and serving, then you need to connect with them, and not on a fake level, on a real level, and understand what they're doing. Okay, cool. Don't try to rip it apart. Find out what they liked about it, what they didn't like, what if they could change anything about, what would they change, right? It's very kind of neutral. It's not like, and there's going to be times where you need to be assertive and you need to smash things, but you kind of have to build that up with your questions, right? Questions can kind of be like on the, you can get the surface level answers and get stuff like that and cool. And then you get, specific. That's where you get I don't go for the pain. I go for specifics. And with the specifics comes awareness, and with the awareness comes, holy shit, like this is a bigger problem than I thought it was. But you're not telling them that. They're realizing it. It's a huge difference, right? Okay, cool. So what we have to do is we have to kind of split the people up, right? So a couple things you can do throughout the call. You want to ask questions like tell me about a time, and it could be something like depends what you want to handle, right? So this is what we do is in Enrolling Mastery is we build out like what the common objections that most people get, and some people get more than others because they attract it, right? And so like let's say you get someone who, I don't know, maybe they're never committed. You talk to, right? So you could say something like, tell me about a time when you faced a really big challenge, and where you wanted to quit, but you were super committed and got past it, right? So, okay, so, I say, tell me about a time. Keep that one in mind. That's a good one. Tell me about a time when ... Okay, so now they're going to go in and tell you about a time. Like I've heard people say like, oh, I remember I was in my first semester of college, and it was really hard, and I almost quit. And then I thought about, and they'll tell you something deep. Like I thought about my mom, and maybe the mom passed away, and what she would have wanted, and then that gave me the strength to like go back, and I studied, and I did hard, and I did it, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, and I did it, and I accomplished that, right? So now they that's an identity, right? Wow, that must have felt amazing, right? And then so you're anchoring that state, right? We're going to go through the pain, we're going to do all these things in between, but we have to have these two identities, these two people, right? So it could be something like that. Now you know a couple things from that. You know, one, that they overcame that thing in college, right? They know that their mom passed away, and they got the strength to do the college thing or something from the mother, whatever it is. I'm just making something up here right there, right? So that's all stuff that you can tie down to at the end of the call, right? It could be something about if it's a weight loss thing, it could be like, tell me about a time where you felt really confident in your body or in your health or whatever it is, right? And if they can't think of anything, right, that's a problem, right? And then that's something you have to say, wow, so you mean to tell me you've never felt confident in your life? You never overcame anything in your life? Never? Then how do you think you're going to ever overcome this? Right? Because if they don't think they can overcome anything, right, that you have to handle. That's the issue. It's not that there's too much money, right? So we need to break that pattern, and we need to show them what's really going on, that this is affecting everything in your life. And so you fix this thing right here about XYZ, I can't help you. No one can help you. Reading books, whatever you've tried, is never going to work, right? So cool. Let's see. Another one that I would use for this. So you have like you have the committed, right? Because I want them to identify as a person that's committed, that takes action. So that might be something I do. Committed. Resourceful is another one. Oh, I can't even spell. Jeepers. So resourceful. So like, tell me about a time when you didn't have what you needed or whatever it is, right? But you got resourceful and made it happen. Or when everyone thought you weren't going to be able to accomplish something, and even you were doubting yourself, but you got super resourceful and you did this. Because we're going to build that identity and then build off of that after, okay? And that's why I call splitting the identity, because this is really what the key is. Because at the end of the call, like everyone thinks that the people are saying yes to their coaching or no to their coaching. It has nothing to do, it's not yes or no to your coaching or your program, right? It's basically, who do you want to be? That's the question. Who do you want to be? Right? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who's been struggling for the last 20 years, that has all the challenges, this, and this, right? Or do you want to be the person who, like we were in college, when you had the challenge, you overcame it, that's the question. It doesn't matter if it's me, it doesn't matter if it's or like, are you willing to take the first step to get to your goals? Or what's the first step to get to your goals, right? So there's different ways to do it, and depending on how long you are in the call, I don't want to get into too much of the weeds here, but it can be more of a general thing, right? It could be as simple as hit your goals, which is very vague, right? At the first things, and then the intensity level, the further you go, you get more assertive, right? And you get more specific, right? And you build that. The problem is, people are really nice on the call. They're all sweet, 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 and then they get an objection, and they go into this pardon my French. They go into this. They go into this mode where it's really abrasive and. Well, yeah, but, don't you want to take care of your family, and you want your kids to grow up without a mother? Like, and it's just like, whoa. Like, and then the people the brakes, they hang up, the blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Like, you got to kind of, first you got to have really good trust and have them open up to you, and they tell you the truth, and they'll tell you, like, look, I'm just really scared right now, and I'm not sure I can do it. I've failed so many times before and I just don't have the confidence, right? That's a whole different thing. Like if you're getting that kind of objection, now you can work with them, right? You can work with where they're at, talk to them, find out what, there's all kinds of ways to do that. And if you did everything right in the call beforehand, you'd find out the things that they have done and what they failed at, and what they think they needed to succeed, right, for that program or that thing to work. And then you build that in when you're presenting your offer, right? So when you're presenting your offer, it all has to do with based on what they've told you on the call, based on what their challenges were, based on what they think they needed, based on you exposing the real problem and how you're going to handle that. And your program has your stages, your pillars, whatever you call it, and how it's going to address all those things that they need to bridge to get over from, where they are here. Jesus, that's a weird person. And then you got this bridge, and they got to get over here. So these are the things that need to get them to the next part, right? So whatever it is, maybe it's accountability for this. Maybe it's the diet plan. Maybe it's the mindset piece, right? Maybe it's getting past the trauma, or whatever that is going on, right? So that's the key. The key is splitting the identity. And it's basically at the end of the call, it's not do they want to join your program or someone else's program. It's who do they want to be. And if they want to be the victim still, they leave the call. They know that's a choice and they're choosing that. There's a difference, right? It's the choice. They don't want to make a decision. That's the choice. That's the pattern, right? Because you have to remember that we all make decisions from our current place, our perspective, right? Our current reality. And the problem is when we make decisions from that current space, that current reality, we're going to continue to get what we've gotten, right? So it's like if someone is, if someone's use weight loss, a lot of weight loss people do these things, but if someone like is overweight and they're making decisions from, like I'm overweight, I'm making decisions from a fat person's perspective, right? And then if you have someone who, it's like I don't lose the weight and then make the mindset of a fit person. I have to adopt the patterns and beliefs of a fit person first, even though that's not congruent to who I am right now, right? Same thing. If someone makes, $2,000 a month and they want to go to $50,000 a month, there's a whole different mindset, right? Where you have to make decisions from the other mindset you want to be at to get those things, that's the hard part, right? That's the whole part of the call. That's why you struggle investing in yourself. Sometimes I struggle in it because we have to really stand in that place, not from the place where we're beaten up basically, right? So making the decision from the 50K mindset, and if you have, like, some people deal with like crappy clients that, that they can't stand, that are abusive and all this other stuff because they're in a $2,000 mindset. If you were making 60,000, would you fire this client? Yes, we'll fire him. Like, just fire him. Don't worry about the money. Like, come from that place, that energy, and then stuff comes to you. And I'm not even the woo-woo guy. I don't know how long this is going. Holy cow, 20 minutes almost. Jeepers. All right, guys. Have a good day and take it easy. If you need anything, have any questions, if you want someone to break down one of your calls and you want to get your enrolling rate from, under 10%, under 15%, and get to 30, 40% consistently, then message me. We could jump on a call and see if you're a good fit. See if I'm a good fit to help you. If you can deal with my personality, because I can tell you right now, I'm not for everybody. But if you want results and you want to fully commit and get to that place where you can help people get past their fears, then message me. All right, take it easy.